my camera's dying. Hello. Hey. Hi. Oh my gosh, you can see the books. You're not allowed to see the books yet. It's the time of the month where everybody posts what they read this month, and I'm going to hop onto that train and show you what I read this month. I read 7 books this month. I'm currently reading an 8th, and if I didn't have a gigantic essay due at the beginning of April, I would have been able to finish it, but I do have a gigantic essay due at the beginning of April, so I did not get to finish my 8th book, but it will be in next month's what I read in April, hopefully. So if you're new, welcome. If you're not new, hi again. I've had a pretty good reading month and I've read 7 books. I think I did just say that though. So yeah, let's go on to what I read in March. The 7 books that I read in March. So I read, I think, 3 books. 2 books on my Kindle and 5 paperback books. So to start the month off, I need to get my Goodreads. Okay, so to start the month, we read The Spanish Love Deception. I tabbed this book. Did I even tab it that much? Yeah, I did actually, to be honest. I rated this, Goodreads again. I rated this a 5 stars. I really enjoyed this book. It's about a girl called Catalina who works at this company with this man called Aaron Blackford. And she needs a date to her sister's wedding because her ex-fiance or her ex-boyfriend, I don't know if they're fiance or boyfriend, is going to be there with a date. So Aaron Blackford said that he will go to the wedding with her, but she has to do something for him. And it's just like a little enemies to lovers romance book, and it was really cute. I'm not gonna lie, I really enjoyed this book. Lots of people don't, and lots of people think it's rubbish, but I love this book. It was very good. Okay, the next book that I read was Twisted Love. I'll put the picture up here, and I actually DNF'd it. I did not finish it. I stopped at 70%, and it was a brother's best friend romance, and to be honest, it was just so extreme. There was just girl and the boy. The relationship between them was so toxic that it was just horrible. I had to skip through all the spicy scenes because they were just nasty, and just the story just didn't have a strong plot at all. There was just like really extreme, excessive plot lines that just did not need to happen. So I rated it a 3 out of 5 because like I can see why other people like it, but I personally did not enjoy it. Anyway, next, Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. This book is so floppy. Look at that. So good. This is I think a childhood friends to lovers, and it was so cute. It was a girl who loves to read. They get this new house after her mum dies, and she becomes friends with the boy next door, but she only sees him like in the summers or like on weekends and stuff. And it's just like how they navigate their relationship while they're growing up. And wait, oh yeah, so they get together. Sorry, I had to read the back for a minute. They get together, but then something happens and they don't talk for 11 years, and then they meet again, and it's so cute. I love this book so much, and it was a 5-star read. Next, I read another one on my Kindle. Wait, how many books did I read this month? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I did read 8 books this month. Oh, okay. Next, I read The Wall of Winnipeg and Me, and I was very scared to go into this one. I rated it at 4 stars. I was very scared to go into it because it's so long, it's a slow burn. I didn't know how I'd like the slow burn, but I actually personally really enjoyed it because you kind of have to work for the relationship, which is what happens in real life. And to be honest, there wasn't, in The Spanish Love Deception, there was a lot of teasing. Like you could just tell they wanted to be together, but they just weren't. Whereas in this one, I didn't really feel like that at all. I feel like they were just living their life and you were reading about their life, and then in the end they got together, and it was just like, it's like a reward. That TikTok sound.
It's like a reward.
The man, Aidan, he's a football player. The woman, Vanessa's his assistant, and he just treats her really horribly, so she quits for him one day, and then he wants her back and he makes a deal with her, and then they get together, and I just really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the world that they were in and just the story. So yeah, I rated it 4 out of 5. Okay, so the next book I read was Without Merit by Colleen Hoover, and I saw Sarah Crowley read this, so I thought I'd give it a chance. I did not know anything that it was about. The back doesn't really give much away at all, and when I tell you, this was probably one of my favourite books this year, because, not because of the story itself, but because of the issues it tackles. Definitely if you're going to read this, search up trigger warnings, because I didn't, and there was some bits and I was like, But it's about a girl called Merit, and she lives with this kind of really messed up family, and she meets people along the way, but each person she meets has something to do with her family, and it just gets progressively worse, and something happens in the middle of the book where she just loses it, and then it's just like the rest of the story is how the family kind of get back together after what happened. And yeah, I was not expecting it to be like this at all. I really enjoyed it. It was so well done. So this was a 5-star read for me. Next, what did I read next? Next, I read This Wolven Kingdom. I haven't seen this one recommended very much at all, and I think I rated it a 3 out of 5 because this is the first book in an upcoming series. So the first half of the book was incredibly slow, and I mean painfully slow. I read the first 100 pages and I put it down, and I think I read like the 2 books before in between, and then after I finished with that Merit, I was like, okay, I'm finally going to finish this book. I'm gonna say the writing in this book is very old-fashioned. I want to say it's very poetic, and the dialogue in the book is very lyrical and very old-fashioned, and something that you would probably read at school, like study at school. But towards the end of the book I really started to appreciate it, and it took a very long time to get used to it, but once I did, it was worth it. It was so good, and the ending was just amazing. I really cannot wait for the second book. The only thing I do wish was that I read it when the second book came out, so that I could read the first one and then go straight into the second one, because now I don't know how long it's going to take. But also this cover is just so pretty, and it did kind of feel like I was reading a classic while I was reading it, so. Okay, next I read Heartbones by Colleen Hoover, and when I tell you, this has probably become my favourite book that I've ever read. And I read it because it was the last day of my Kindle Unlimited subscription, and it just went on to Kindle Unlimited, so I was like, okay, I'm going to read it in a day, because the paperback is quite expensive to buy in the UK. So I read it on Kindle Unlimited. It was so sad, but in Colleen Hoover fashion, she put it all back together in the end. But the story was just so heartbreaking, and I related to so much of that story, and honestly it holds a place in my heart, and I will be buying the paperback because it is a book that I will definitely be rereading because I loved it that much and I want it on my shelf. It's about a girl called Bea whose mum, I don't think it's a spoiler because it's like in the first few chapters. Her mum dies, so she calls her dad up, who she doesn't have a relationship with, and goes to spend the summer with him. He has a situation that she really has to adapt to, and it's beautiful how the whole situation is adapted to. And she meets a boy called Samson, and she's trying to navigate the romance with him while still dealing with what happened at home with her mum. And he's got his own things that he hasn't shared with her, and the way that you find out why he's been keeping it a secret and what he's been keeping a secret is really, really heartbreaking. I was crying quite hard during that book. I think I've got a picture. If I've got a picture, I'll put it like here. That's how bad I was crying, and I did rate it at 5 stars. It was so good. But yeah, that was Heartbones. Definitely one of my favourite books of this year so far, and definitely has become my comfort book just because I relate a lot to Bea and her story. It was kind of like a reminders of him type story rather than like It Ends With Us type story. And then on to the last book that I read was, I reread Ugly Love. I had to do it. It's one of my favourite Colleen Hoover books, and when I tell you, I highlighted like literally half this book. I mean, I highlighted literally half this book. When I was going to reread it, I was scared that I wasn't going to feel the same way, and it was going to kind of ruin it for me. But honestly, I read this book in like 2 or 3 days again, and even though I knew what was coming, like that big sentence, which if you've read this book you know which big sentence I'm on about, it still hurt just as bad to read it the second time, and it's almost like I was reading it the first time. And I just love it so much, and obviously I rated it a 5 out of 5. Definitely glad I reread that. Anyway, this is the end of my 8 books I've read this month. Honestly, quite a good reading month. I am kind of on the road to be reading 100 books this year, so I'm very excited to see if I hit that. Yeah, this is the 8 books I read this month, plus the 3 little Kindle ones. Very good reading month, and lots. Hope you enjoyed the video. Give it a like, give my channel a subscribe if you want. Don't worry if you don't want to, and I will see you all in my next video. And make sure to check out my April TBR video as well, because then we can come back at the end of the month to see if I actually read any of those books. Anyway, love you very, very much, and I'll see you on the next one.